I was reading somewhere that some of your students considered you as a real mentor for them. Did you hear from them? Do you hear from your students?
Yes, all the time. Hear from students, and I have some tremendous relationships with some of my former students and former players. And quite often I hear how I was the voice or the ears for some of those students, and was able to help them through problems and issues, but that worked both ways. It was just as beneficial for me being around those kids as they were growing up as it was for them to be around me.
That's great. That's great to know. And then one of your students was actually Steven Fenton, who co-wrote the book with you. Right? Tell me about him.
Steven and I met when he was a 14-year-old incoming ninth grader and was trying out for the baseball team. And I was an assistant baseball coach. And I was responsible for the infielders, and he was an infielder. Steven caught my eye right away because he was, if not the smallest guy out there, one of the smallest guys out there. And though he was the most intense guy out there. And that reminded me so much of me. When I tried out for the baseball team years before him, I was the smallest guy out there, and I felt like I had to prove myself. No one really knew who I was, and I really wanted to be on the team, and I was really intense, and he just reminded me so much of me. And Steven graduated, and 20 years later, just by chance, I was the head football coach, and we were coming off the field one Friday evening after a game, and Steven was coming from the front of the school through the locker room area, and that locker room right over there, and as we were coming in, Steven and I saw each other after 20 years, and he walked over to me, we embraced, and then we just started talking, and it was like we had never missed a beat. It was like we were still on the same page as that we were on 20 years prior to that. And
so, Carter, tell me how the book came about. Whose idea was it? How did you get it together? How long did it take?
Yeah, that's interesting. There was a book agent who approached Steven and heard a little bit about Steven's story, becoming a board member and winning an election by a record number, and not having any kids and not being married, and then promoting his old coach to be principal of Beverly Hills High School. So then Steven came to me and asked if I would be interested in writing a book, and we both were pretty hesitant because we were both pretty busy at the time, but then after some thought we decided, yeah, sure, let's do it.
Tell me about the structure of the book. Where does it start? How does it end? What's it about?
Well, the book starts with me and growing up in South Central. The Watts riots were happening at a time when I was a young child, and although we didn't live in Watts, some of the activity spilled over into our neighborhood, and it goes from there to my going to school here at Beverly Hills High School, and coming back to become a coach, and meeting Steven and Steven's family, and their story is pretty interesting as well, and that's all included in the book. And it's really about two different people from two different worlds, two different generations, but we're so similar in so many ways, and just the parallels of our lives, and it was even interesting to us when writing it. And then the values that we both believe in are so similar, and so I think people are going to see it really doesn't matter from where you come. It's about who you stand with and what you believe.
Right, and I heard that the book is going to be turned into a movie, so who's going to play you and who's going to play Steven?
That's a question that I try to stay away from. I obviously, like so many others, I'm a huge Denzel Washington fan, But there are a number of actors that I think would be great, and that I would be thrilled and honored to have play me. And Steven, I think, feels the same way. You know, there's a number of people that have been mentioned for him, but he's you know, he would be happy with anybody, I think.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Thanks
you.
for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carter.
All right.
Great.